Betrayal, it's a word that carries weight. A word that can shatter trust, break hearts, and change a person forever. We all fear it, yet at some point in life, we all experience it. The real question is, when someone betrays you, do they deserve forgiveness? Not all betrayals are created equal. Some wounds heal with time, but others cut too deep, leaving scars that never fade. And the worst part? Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. It comes from the people we trust the most, the ones we open our hearts to, the ones we never expected to hurt us. It's in the lies that make you question your own reality, in the manipulation that twists your emotions, in the trust that is broken beyond repair. Some betrayals should never be forgiven, not because you're bitter, not because you're incapable of moving on, but because forgiving them would mean allowing yourself to be hurt again. There are lines that, once crossed, should never be overlooked. And today, we're going to talk about the 7 betrayals in relationships that should never, under any circumstances, be forgiven, because your heart, your trust, and your dignity are worth protecting. Lies have a way of corroding the very foundation of any relationship. They start small, maybe an omission, maybe a twisted version of the truth, but over time they evolve. They become more elaborate, more calculated, more destructive. The worst kind of lies aren't just the ones that hide facts, but the ones that make you question your own reality. When someone deliberately deceives you, they aren't just keeping secrets, they're controlling the narrative, shaping a world where they hold the power and you're left grasping at shadows. The damage caused by deception isn't just about the lie itself, it's about the intent behind it. A person who can lie to you without hesitation is someone who values their comfort over your trust. They would rather protect their own image than preserve the honesty between you. And the more they get away with it, the easier it becomes. One lie leads to another, and soon every conversation feels like a puzzle where the pieces never quite fit. Worse than the lie is the moment you uncover it, that sharp, sinking realization that the person you trusted wasn't who you thought they were. It makes you doubt everything, their words, their promises, even the memories you once cherished. It plants a seed of uncertainty that no apology can erase. Trust, once broken, never returns to its original form. Even if you forgive, even if you move forward, there will always be that voice in the back of your mind whispering, "What else haven't they told me?" The truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a lie, because honesty, even when it hurts, builds connection. Lies only build walls, and once those walls go up, there's no telling what's real anymore. Emotional manipulation is one of the most insidious forms of betrayal because it doesn't just break your trust, it makes you question yourself. It's subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, a guilt trip here, a backhanded compliment there. Then it escalates. They twist your words, rewrite history, and make you believe that the problems in the relationship are always your fault. It's not love. It's control disguised as concern. Manipulation comes in many forms. Sometimes it's silent treatment, withholding affection until you cave and apologize for something you didn't do. Other times it's gaslighting, where they make you feel like you're overreacting or remembering things wrong. You're too sensitive. I never said that. You're imagining things. These words chip away at your confidence, making you second guess your own emotions. What makes emotional manipulation so dangerous is that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, calculated erosion of your self-worth. You start adjusting your behavior, trying harder to keep them happy, afraid of upsetting them. You walk on eggshells, not realizing that you're giving up pieces of yourself just to maintain peace. And the more you bend, the more they push. It's a cycle where they create the storm and then convince you they're the only shelter you have. By the time you realize what's happening, you're exhausted. You've spent so much time trying to prove your love, trying to earn their approval, that you forget love was never supposed to be something you had to prove. A relationship should lift you up, not weigh you down. And if someone needs to manipulate you to keep you close, they were never afraid of losing you. They were afraid of losing control. Trust is the backbone of any relationship. It's not just about believing someone's words, it's about knowing deep down that they would never intentionally hurt you. When trust is broken, it doesn't just cause pain, it changes the way you see the person standing in front of you. What once felt safe now feels uncertain. What once felt strong now feels fragile. The betrayal of trust comes in many forms. Maybe they broke a promise, one they swore they'd keep. Maybe they shared something deeply personal about you with others, turning your vulnerability into gossip. Or maybe they crossed a boundary you clearly set, disregarding your feelings in the process. Whatever the betrayal looks like, the result is the same. It leaves you questioning everything. The worst part isn't even the act itself, but the realization that they didn't value your trust enough to protect it. They made a choice, knowing it could hurt you, and they did it anyway. And once trust is shattered, no amount of words can piece it back together the way it was. You may try to move on, to forgive, but there will always be that hesitation, that doubt lingering in the back of your mind. You'll start analyzing their words, second-guessing their intentions, wondering if history will repeat itself. A relationship without trust becomes a battlefield of suspicion and insecurity. You find yourself holding back, guarding parts of yourself that you once shared freely. You become cautious, not because you want to, but because you have to. And that's the real damage, not just losing faith in them, but losing the ability to feel safe in something that once felt unbreakable. Infidelity is more than just a betrayal of the body. It's a betrayal of the heart, the mind, and the trust that holds a relationship together. It's the moment when everything you believed was sacred between you and another person is shattered. When someone chooses to be unfaithful, they aren't just making a mistake. They're making a decision that disregards your love, your loyalty, and everything you built together. The pain of infidelity isn't just about the act itself, it's about the lies that come with it, the deception, the secrecy, the moments where you looked them in the eyes, believing in their love, while they were living a double life. It makes you question everything. Was any of it real? Were the words they whispered, the promises they made, just empty gestures? You start replaying memories, trying to spot the moment when they stopped choosing you. Some people try to justify it. They'll say it was a mistake, a lapse in judgment. But a mistake is accidental. Cheating is deliberate. It requires planning, deception, and the willingness to risk everything for temporary pleasure. And if someone can look at what you share and still choose to betray you, then it was never about love. It was about their own selfish desires. What makes infidelity so cruel is that it doesn't just break trust, it breaks the way you see yourself. It plants seeds of doubt, making you wonder if you weren't enough, if you could have done something differently. But the truth is, cheating isn't a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their lack of character. Because real love, real commitment, doesn't seek temporary satisfaction at the cost of someone else's pain. Abandonment isn't always physical. Sometimes it's the person sitting right next to you, watching you struggle and doing nothing. It's in the silence when you needed words, in the absence when you needed presence. It's in the moment you realized that when life got heavy, they chose to walk away instead of standing beside you. True connection isn't tested during easy times, it's revealed in the hardest moments, when life falls apart, when pain becomes unbearable, when the world feels like it's caving in. That's when you see who truly cares. The people who stay, who hold you up when you can't stand on your own, they are the ones who love you. But the ones who disappear, the ones who pretend not to see your suffering, who leave when it's no longer convenient to be by your side, they were never truly there to begin with. Abandonment isn't just painful, it changes you. It teaches you not to rely on others, not to expect support, not to trust in promises of forever. You start building walls not out of choice, but out of necessity. Because once someone you love leaves you in your darkest moments, a part of you starts to believe that everyone else will too. And maybe that's the cruelest part of it, the way abandonment doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your ability to believe in love the way you once did. You carry that fear forward, that hesitation, that voice in your head that whispers, don't lean too much, don't expect too much, don't need too much. Because once someone has left you when you needed them the most, you never quite forget how it felt to stand there alone. Being used is a betrayal that doesn't always reveal itself right away. It starts with kindness, with small requests, with the feeling that you're giving because you care. But over time, you start to notice a pattern. Your effort is never matched, your needs are never prioritized, and your value is only recognized when it benefits them. You become a resource, not a person. Some people don't love you, they love what you can do for them. They love the way you support them, the way you listen, the way you give without hesitation. But when you need them, they're absent. Excuses replace effort, silence replaces support. They take and take, draining you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially, all while making you feel like it's your role to give. The realization hits hard when you step back and see the imbalance, the weight of always being the one to care, to fix, to sacrifice. It's exhausting to pour into someone who never pours back into you. And the most painful part, they never planned on giving. They only stayed because they knew you would, because they knew that as long as they asked, you would always say yes. Public humiliation is a betrayal that cuts deeper than most because it turns your pain into a spectacle. When someone who claims to love you ridicules you, exposes your vulnerabilities, or disrespects you in front of others, it's not just about embarrassment, it's about power. It's a deliberate act meant to diminish you, to remind you that your dignity is in their hands. It might seem small, a joke at your expense, a dismissive comment in front of friends, but over time, it escalates. They criticize you where others can hear, mock your insecurities, or twist private moments into public entertainment. And when you react, they call you sensitive, tell you it was just a joke, making you feel foolish for expecting respect. True love protects. It lifts you up, not tears you down. When someone publicly shames you, they are making a statement that your feelings don't matter, that their image, their amusement, or their dominance is more important than your dignity. And the worst part, it doesn't just hurt in the moment, it lingers. It makes you question your worth, your voice, your right to be treated with kindness, because betrayal in private wounds you, but betrayal in public makes sure everyone sees the scars. Betrayal is more than just a broken promise, it's a wound that changes the way you see love, trust, and even yourself. Some betrayals can be forgiven, but others leave scars too deep to ignore. Deception, manipulation, broken trust, infidelity, abandonment, being used, and public humiliation. These are not mistakes, they're choices. And when someone shows you through their actions that they do not respect you, believe them. You deserve love that is honest, loyalty that is unwavering, and respect that never wavers, both in private and in public. Walking away from betrayal isn't weakness, it's self-respect. You are not obligated to tolerate mistreatment just because you love someone, because real love, real connection, never requires you to sacrifice your dignity. So stand strong, protect your heart, and never settle for anything less than the love and respect you truly deserve. Good luck and thank you. Life is too short to hold on to people who don't value you. Choose yourself, choose peace, choose the kind of love that feels safe and true, wishing you the strength to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Stay strong and thank you for listening.